10 world record attempts that ended in death. Number 10. Zipline Terror. Indian stuntman Shailendra Nath Roy held two of the most bizarre world records, both of which were hair-related. In 2011, he travelled 82.5 metres on a zip wire, attached only by his hair. The following year, he pulled a locomotive with his ponytail for a record 2.5 metres. Not satisfied with his unconventional achievements, Roy wanted to better his zipline record. In August 2013, 91 metres into his stunt, Roy's hair got stuck on the line. It took 45 minutes before rescuers were able to retrieve him, by which time he was already dead. An autopsy revealed that he had suffered a trauma-induced heart attack. Number 9. Free falling. During the Cold War, American Nick Piantanida was determined to outdo Russian cosmonauts, who had set a world record for the longest freefall jump at 24,500 meters. In May 1966, Piantanida ascended to over 36,000 meters and began his jump. Disastrously, after 17,000 meters, his specialized suit depressurized. Immediately realizing the danger he was in, the US control room remotely released his parachute early. By the time Piantanida reached the Earth, a lack of oxygen had left him permanently brain damaged, and he slipped into a coma. He died 4 months later. Number 8. The fastest human in history. Originally a mine engineer, Lowell Bales soared to fame in the late 1920s as a stunt pilot, performing all around the US. At the 1931 National Air Races, Bales attempted to break the official 3 kilometers world land plane speed record. Almost reaching speeds of 482 kilometers an hour, Bales was on the verge of success when disaster struck. The plane's fuel cap came loose, flew through the windshield and knocked the pilot out. The plane crashed in a huge ball of fire, throwing Bales' body almost 100 meters from the cockpit. Number 7. Water speed record. By 1964, Englishman Donald Campbell had become the only person ever to hold both the land and water speed records, but he still wasn't satisfied. In 1967, he tried to break his own water speed record. As his jet-powered boat reached a record-smashing 480 kilometers per hour, things suddenly went very wrong. The boat momentarily lifted into the air, then Campbell was slammed back into the water with tremendous force. He died immediately, but his body wasn't found until 34 years later. Many people have hypothesized that the crash was entirely avoidable and was the result of the boat being too light due to a lack of fuel. Number 6. Buried alive. Despite there not being an official world record for the longest time spent buried alive, 24-year-old Sri Lankan magician Janaka Basnayaka wanted to set one. In 2012, he had some of his friends bury him in a 3-meter deep pit. After being buried alive for 7.5 hours, Basnayaka was dug back up. To the horror of his friends, the ground had suffocated him and he was no longer breathing. CPR was attempted at the scene and he was taken to hospital, but he was sadly pronounced dead just a few hours later. Number 5. Largest group skydive. In 2014, in a bid to overtake the previous record of 110 people, 222 ascended to 6,000 meters to take part in the world's largest formation skydive. Tragedy occurred, however, when the parachute of 46-year-old Diana Paris failed to open, and she was too close to the ground for the backup parachute to work. Paris was a very experienced skydiver, with 1,500 dives under her belt. Despite the efforts of emergency services, she was declared dead at the scene. Number 4. Balloon Fest. In what was supposed to be a spectacular publicity stunt, a world record-breaking 1.4 million helium balloons were released into the skies of Cleveland, Ohio. Intended to be a thing of beauty, the 1986 event ended up having disastrous consequences, causing millions of dollars of damage. Most tragically, emergency helicopters were unable to travel through the balloon-filled sky to come to the aid of 2 fishermen, who drowned after their boat capsized. What's more, rescuers struggled to locate the men, as it was difficult to differentiate between the balloons bobbing in the water and a human head. Number 3. Deep sea diving. The world record depth that a diver has swum to without fins or breathing equipment is now a whopping 124 meters. In 2013, 32-year-old Nicholas Mavoli attempted to become the first American to surpass the 100-meter mark. Spectators waited with trepidation as Mavoli remained underwater for 3 minutes and 38 seconds. He had only reached a depth of 74 meters. Though he initially seemed fine upon returning to the surface, the diver fainted soon after. CPR was administered for 90 minutes, but Mavoli was declared dead at the scene. Number 2. Around the world in 30 days. In 2014, father and son duo Babar and Haris Suleiman attempted to break the world record for flying around the Earth in a single-engine airplane. Admirably, their flight was intended to raise money for Pakistani children in need of education. They planned to land for fuel just 25 times over the course of the 43,000-kilometer journey, which they hoped to undertake in just 30 days. Tragically, disaster struck and the 17-year-old pilot lost control over the Pacific Ocean. The resulting crash killed both men, and the body of Babar, Haris's father, was never recovered. Number 1. Motorcycle jump. In 2005, 44-year-old Javad Palizbanian from Iran tried to break the world record for jumping over the greatest number of buses. In 1975, Evel Knievel had jumped 40 meters over 14 buses, and in 1999, Bubba Blackwell surpassed that record, clearing 15 buses. Palizbanian's attempt was much more ambitious, as he aimed to jump 22 buses, the equivalent of about 63 meters. Tragically, the stuntman crashed into the 13th bus, dying instantly on impact.
Hi guys, we're here to tell you about our brand new channel. Yes, it's Dave versus John, the home of Fact Wars. Tell them what they can see on this week's episode, John.
Well, this week we've got a kid who invented an atom bomb.
We have the world's most luckiest city.
And the real live Planet of the Apes.
Yes, it's playing on screen now. There's a link here and there's a link to the channel here. So click the links, come over and subscribe to our brand new channel. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.
And don't forget to vote Team John. See you next time.
See you next time.